This is an extract from the Leader podcast by the Evening Standard, hosted by me, David Marsland. To hear the whole thing, search for us on your podcast provider. With all the bombast of a mighty Andrew Lloyd Webber chord change, live theatre has roared back into London. Jesus Christ Superstar erupted on a real stage in front of a real audience at the Regent's Park Open Air Theatre. In his review, our critic Nick Curtis said it felt like blood flowing back into the capital's cultural veins, and he's with me now. Nick, even before the performance started, how was it just sitting down in an audience again?
It was really nice, but it was also really strange. You know, every time you think you've got used to this new reality, something reminds you how weird it is. So it was very strange walking into the open air theatre, seeing a grid drawn on the lawn so that people could have socially distanced picnics, seeing only a third of the usual number of people you'd see there on a press night, so down from over 1,200 people to just under 400. Having a one-way system through the bar, so you order your drink at one place, you pay at the next place, and you pick it up at the third one. And yeah, just seeing everyone in face masks is still very strange. But there was something very, very, very nice about sitting down in a shared space with a bunch of complete strangers.
When the performance starts, can you forget all about all the social distancing rules? Is it like going to see a performance again?
Yes, it is. I think Jesus Christ Superstar, the concert, is a slightly unique case in that you can stage it in a way where nobody on the stage is within about a metre of one another, nobody touches one another, everybody uses an individual microphone, so yes, it doesn't feel as peculiar as, say, I don't know, watching a love story would be, where people are not snogging or things like that.
Yeah, that's a challenge theatre's going to have to come, isn't it? You know, how do you do Romeo and Juliet, for example? Is it possible?
It isn't possible. And I mean, that's the thing at the moment is I feel I really enjoyed Jesus Christ Superstar, the concert, but I feel it's a sort of, at the moment, we're just getting scraps or sort of partial realizations of a little bit of what theatre can be. You obviously can't really do Shakespeare plays where everyone's standing 2 meters apart. You can't do love stories. You can't do fight scenes. It's sort of anathema to the whole spirit of theatre, really, social distancing. You know, it is a tactile, kinetic art form.
But let's look at the positive. The performance happened. It went ahead.
It did go ahead. It went ahead 15 minutes late because it was raining, and then it stopped for another 15 minutes because it was raining again. So it was almost like an average summer at the open air theatre. I can't tell you the number of shows I've been to that have been cancelled or washed out from there. So, I think a lot of people were sort of putting on wry smiles as well as putting on massive military cagoules and things. It was extremely exciting when the band cranked up. Probably the most familiar song from Jesus Christ Superstar is that overture, that big brassy da 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 da. Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, who are you, what have you sacrificed? And so it shiver did, I think, run through all the audience's spines. It was, as I said in my review, it was like feeling the blood pumping back into London's cultural veins again for the first time in 4 months. And you could see from the performers, they were thinking they haven't been able to do what they do for the last 4 months. So much talent has just been battened down, bottled up and sort of kept under wraps for so long that there was a great sort of exuberant outpouring of it last night. And there was a second lovely coup. Everyone came on wearing face coverings, and they were sort of like almost like veils to suggest a slight, I suppose, historic religious angle. And as one, on a single note, they all reached up and pulled them down and grinned at the audience, and that was just a lovely, magical moment.
And you've written in your review that this version is a slightly more somber than perhaps people have previously seen. There's a more somber version of it. Is that appropriate for these times?
It's, well, put it this way. The first thing I saw in the theatre since lockdown was the Donmar's installation Blindness, which is about a plague of everybody going blind. And I was thinking, well, this is very effective, but it's not exactly, cheering us up or taking us out of ourselves in this situation, is it? Spoiler alert, Jesus Christ Superstar does not have a happy ending. I'm not going to give it away, but, you can probably guess what happens. But what I think I was trying to communicate in that is it's not as sort of joyful and rompish as Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, which is so sort of peppy and sassy. And this has quite a lot more sort of pain and anxiety in it. Jesus is a very haunted and hunted figure, as I think one of the lyrics puts it. And I didn't manage to fit this into my review, but I was thinking you can see why people love him in this, but he's actually quite hard to like.
But in general, just to sum up, Nick, well worth people checking out these things like Jesus Christ Superstar and other kind of performances, if only just to show support for theatre itself.
Oh, well worth it. I mean, it just, I think I said in my review, this feels like it could be the start of something. This feels like things could be creeping back. And it's absolutely worth going to see. These are the things that make London, London. You know, it is the culture, it's the events, it's the, you know, it's being part of a living, vibrant city where you interact with strangers all the time. You know, if we didn't want to go out and do these things, we might as well all live in tiny villages and not live in this wonderful, throbbing, challenging metropolis that we all sort of detest and love in equal measure.